In this video, I'm going to show you how you can create this traveler manipulation using Photoshop. So let's get started. Hey, what's up guys, Dhruval here back with another video, and as you can see, this is the final output and there are a lot of layers and masking in this video. And as you can see, this is the background image and this is the model image, and we are also going to use this plain image for the background. So all of these images are from deviantart.com, and if you want to use any of them, the download link is in video description, so feel free to use it. So let's start by working on the background. Now first thing I want to do is I'm going to double click and unlock it. Now I want to flip the image, so I'm going to go and press Ctrl T, right click, and then I will select flip horizontal, and then I will go and confirm it. I want my sun to be here and model to be here, so that's why it has to match the lighting. The shadow is on this way, so this way it will be really easy to manage the lighting. Now first thing I'm gonna do is right click, and then I will select convert to smart object. And before we apply the next step, you have to make sure that your foreground color is black. You can press D key for the defaults or click on this icon. Now first thing I will do is double click here and select gradient overlay. And the gradient overlay, go to your gradient options and select foreground to transparent and hit OK. Then I will go and change my style to radial, and then I will go and reverse it so it's on the outside. And for the scaling, let's say 150 seems fine, or maybe a little less. And then I will put it exactly here like this, because the sun, the lighting is going on here. So that looks nice. And then I will reduce the opacity to, let's say, something like 80%. That seems good. And the change its blending mode to soft light. So if I turn it on enough, as you can see, this portion seems a bit darker, and you can reduce the scaling if you want. It's your choice. Then go and hit OK. Now it's time to add in that plane that we saw in the original file. So let's go and look at here. So this is the plane stock. Now cutting out this image is a little bit trickier. So here's how you have to do is, right, you double click on your background layer, hit OK. Now go to select here and select color range and select this blue color, and make sure your fuzziness is somewhere around like really good. The plane has to be completely black as much as possible. So I think 130 seems fine, and hit OK. Now you have to go and apply a layer mask from here. So as you can see, it has cut out the plane, but it's not visible because the mask is inverted. So I will select my mask and I will press Ctrl I. So as you can see, now the plane is visible and other area is not. But there is a little bit problem. I'm gonna hold down my Alt key and then I will click on this mask. As you can see here, there's a little bit of white area that we need to get rid of. So to do that, go to your image, adjustment, and select levels. Yes, you can apply your levels on layer mask. Then I will go and start decreasing the midtones so that white portion is gone, and then I will start increasing my highlights. So the missing area in the plane, as you can see, it will start to fill up. And now I'm gonna put this one here. You have to create as much contrast as possible, so that looks really nice, and hit OK. Now for the missing parts, you can just simply directly right click and make sure hardness is somewhere around 50%. I have selected my brush tool in my layer mask with white color. As you can see, it's white, and then just simply go and paint on your mask just like that. Here the plane is going to be really small in the background, so details doesn't have to be that good. So that looks really good. Now I am again gonna hold my Alt key and click. As you can see, now the plane looks much better. Now I'm gonna right click and select apply layer mask. So the layer mask is gone and we have less confusion. Now I'm gonna press Ctrl A. I will press Ctrl C. Come back to my background, and then I will press Ctrl V. So as you can see, plane is here. Now I'm gonna press Ctrl T, hold my shift key, and make the plane a little bit smaller, a lot smaller actually, until it fits the image really nice and it looks far in distance. So that seems fine. We might adjust it later. So the plane and background is ready, and now let's focus on the model. So I'm gonna go here, and this is the model image. Now to cut her out, it's a really basic process I use in my every tutorial. So I'm gonna go and select my quick selection tool. It's on plus mode, and just go and make your brush a little bigger. I use my bracket keys to make it bigger, and then just go and make a selection of her. It's really easy as that. If you want to skip this part, the annotation is on, just go and skip to that mark. So as you can see, I'm just like making the selection as quick as possible. So that looks really nice, a little bit on the hair. And that is great. Now for the missing areas, I would recommend using magnetic lasso tool. So to do that, you have to go here, right click and select magnetic lasso tool, and it's on third number because I want to remove it. So I'm gonna go and make a selection of it. And when you want to confirm the selection, just come here and double click, so it will turn it into a selection. So that portion is gone, and I will do the same thing with the bag here. Now in the bag, we actually need to add the selection. So I will go and select the second option, and this way you can add the selection wherever you need. So as you can see, this looks really good. Let's go and confirm it. So it has made a decent selection. I will fine tune it now. So the basic selection is ready, and it's time to apply the layer mask. So I will go and click on this third option. So we have applied the layer mask. The background is cut. And now I will take out this document completely. As you can see here, I will select my move tool from here, and then I will drag and drop this image here. Now we can close this document, we don't need it. So let's go and close it. Yes. So the model is here. Now I'm also gonna press Ctrl T here. Hold my shift key and make her smaller until she fits in the like criteria that I need. She has to look decent. We can make her smaller, bigger anytime we need. So let's go and make her that big, and let's go and confirm it. Now I will adjust the size of plane and the model. So the basic composition of the image is ready. Now it's time to adjusting the things. So first thing I want to do is add some blur in the background, so she stands out really good. So select your layer 0, go to your filter, blur, and then go to, where is it, Gaussian blur. In the Gaussian blur, I will go and select 5 pixel, and then go and hit OK. You can choose different numbers as per your taste. Now I'm gonna go and select my smart filter. As you can see, that's why I converted it into a smart object in the beginning. So select your smart filters here, select your brush tool, and I will select my black color. Now the problem is that the blur looks nice, but there cannot be blur on the ground here where her feet are. So I'm gonna make my brush bigger. As you can see, I'm using my bracket keys as I said. So I will paint with black color here. So now there is blur only in the background and not on the foreground where her legs are, right? So if you wanna paint it back, all you have to do is just paint with the white color, and then let's remove it a little bit with black color. So that looks nice, and I will apply the same blur on the plane. So I'm gonna select my plane. I will go to filter, blur, and then go to Gaussian blur. And the 5 pixel seems way too much, so I will turn it down to 3 pixel and then go and hit OK. Now I also want to adjust couple of things on the plane. So to do that, here is my plane image. I'm gonna create a new adjustment layer, and I will select curves. Now first thing I will do is click on this little button here. So it will clip mask it, and now when I increase my highlights from here, as you can see, it is only affecting the plane. If I turn it off, it affects entire image. I don't need that. So turn this on, and now it will only affect the plane, as you can see. So that looks really nice. Go and close it. Now I will create another adjustment layer from here, and this time I will select hue saturation. This time I want it to affect entire image under it, so I will just go and simply type -10. I'm trying to kill out some lighting in the image, so that looks nice, and yeah, that's great. Now the image is dark, but the sun is going to be here, so in that portion I will go and remove my effect. I will right click and make my hardness completely 0. Make sure to do that, and then I will go and remove it. So now if I turn it on and off, only this portion is like brighter and this area is darker, as you can see. So most of the work for the background is done, and now we can start focusing on the model. So let's go and select your layer 2, which is your model. So first thing I will like to do is select my model here, and I will make a copy of her, and I will press Ctrl J to make a copy, and then put this under everything, every freaking thing. Now double click here and name it backup, because we all know how much we like to screw up while working on a project. So this is a backup. You will not have to make a selection again. See, that's really helpful. So let's start working on the model, the backup we just created. So first thing is, let's go to image. Let me zoom in so you can see properly. Image, adjustment, and then I will go and select shadows and highlights. And as you can see, it doesn't look that good, but let's start working on the shadows first. Oops, sorry, on the highlights. So as you can see, I would like to keep down my highlights as much as possible. Sorry, control. You might be wondering like, what the hell am I doing? But if I turn it on and off, as you can see, I'm basically just compressing the highlights because this looks just way too bright for the environment we just created. Okay, so it just compressed the highlights, and you can control that compression from here. It's not very major like difference, but you can see it better by controlling the radius, and here you have tonal width. So now you can control it even better. So let's turn it on and off. It looks much better. We can control it a little bit more on this side. So that looks really nice. And then I'm gonna go and hit OK. You can also mask out the hair better. To do that, select your layer mask, right click and select refine mask, and just paint near the hair, as you can see, and also a little bit here. So if you have some tiny hair left somewhere, so you can mask them too. Just some attention to minor details. So go and hit OK. So as you can see, the model looks really nice now, and it's time to create the shadows. Now the shadows are going to be under the model, right? So I'm gonna go and create a new blank layer from here and put this under my model, and there's a lot of confusion going on, so I'm gonna double click and name it shadows, so it doesn't get more like difficult. So I'm gonna make my brush really smaller, really tiny, as you can see my brush, and for the color I'm using black, and then I will go and paint here with that black color. As you can see, creating this new layer is extremely important step, and putting it under the model. So now when I paint it, my black color is under the model, as you can see, like that. Now I'm gonna go and reduce my opacity until it looks a bit more natural, as you can see. Now if I turn it on and off, and you can also change the blend mode to soft light just to see how the different output looks, and it also looks really decent. And I'm gonna paint a little bit here too, but the soft light changes a bit of tone of the image that I don't like, so I will go and put it on normal. So let's go and erase a little bit of parts from here where I don't need. Right click and make sure your hardness is 0%. Whenever painting the shadow, most of the time make sure that your hardness is 0%. Brush and eraser both. So eraser, let's go and paint, sorry, brush, and let's go and paint something back. So it's a trial and error process. Let's zoom out, and now if I turn it on and off, she's no more floating, she's actually standing, so that's good sign. And now it was the context shadow. Now we have to create the cast shadow, like the sun is here, so there will be a shadow here too, right? So to do that, first thing I will do is select my layer 2, make a copy of it by pressing Ctrl J, right click on my layer mask and select apply layer mask. So there is no layer mask problem going on. Now I will go to my image, adjustment, hue saturation, and make my lightness to 0% and go and hit OK. So now we have a completely silhouette version of her. Put this under your shadow layer. So there is context shadow, and this is the layer 2 copy, which we cannot see because there is model. So layer 2 copy. Now I'm gonna press Ctrl T, right click and select flip vertical, and put it here like that. Then I'm gonna rotate it a little bit, as you can see, and a little bit more. So let's put it here like that. Let's zoom out so you can see even nicely. Let's put it here. Now here's what you can do to make it even more grounded. So hold your control key and grab a corner and then put it down here like this. As you can see, now it's in a perspective and it looks more natural as a shadow instead of just a fake copy paste. And then you can also drag this portion to here too a little bit, so the shadow is a bit more stretched out, because normally shadows are that way. And let's go and put it a little bit more here too. Let's go and confirm it. Now I'm gonna go and select my move tool and put it here, just like that. That looks good. Now for this unnecessary area you can mask out, but for the tutorial I'm just gonna go and simply erase that portion because we don't need it. And let's go and try to put it a little bit more here, like that. And let's remove this unnecessary area too, so that looks nice. Now the shadow is way too dark, so to get rid of that I'm just gonna go and simply change the opacity to 40-50%, depends on the image you are working on. So now it looks much natural, and let's go and close this thing. So as you can see, the image has started taking shapes, and now we can start working on the shadows and highlights of the model, like the actual that we are going to paint. So to do that, I'm gonna go and create a new adjustment layer and I will select curves. Now I only want like model to get affected, so I will turn on my clipping mask, and then I will go and drag this pointer a little bit down at this here. Yeah, that looks nice. A bit more. Yeah, that's perfect. So now if I turn it on and off, the model is a bit darker. But here's what we are going to do, right? Let's zoom in a little bit, and we need to remove this from the edges because the sun is here. So this portion of the edge, it's going to be really bright. So to do that, I'm gonna hold down my control key and click on this layer mask of the model, as you can see. So it will create a selection of it. Now I will go back and select my curves layer, and I will select my brush tool, and I have black color because we need to remove it. So now I will remove it from the edges, as you can see, from the hands and stuff like that, as you can see. And let's keep doing it, and also zoom in, and I will remove it from here too. It is here but not here. So let's zoom out a little bit. So that looks nice. Now I will go to select, and then I will go deselect. So now if I turn it on and off, as you can see, it has created a rim light that you cannot see for now, but you will see in future. Now it's time to do the exactly opposite thing. So what I'm trying to say is create a new adjustment layer, and again select curves, but this time we will make the image brighter. So let's go and make it a bit brighter, and of course clip mask because we only want model to get affected. So let's make the image a bit brighter, but this time we will also add some colors. So let's go to red and add a touch red because the sunlight will give you a rim light on the edge that is bit yellowish. So let's go and also add a bit of a yellow, not too much, just a little, also in the red. That looks nice, a bit more, and also in the RGB. Let's go, and that looks nice, a little bit more. Now go and close it. So now exactly like the last time, I will hold down my control key, click on this layer 2 thumbnail of my model mask so we can create the selection. Now go back to my layer 3 here, and this time we will remove it from the area where we made it darker. So let's go and remove it from here where we don't need it. I will keep a little bit on the edge of this box because that looks better when it's brighter. So that's one thing, and also remove it from here, not from the edges, okay, because that's where we need the rim light. I will remove it from here, but I will keep it here. And also I'm not expert in lighting or something, I just try my best to make it look good, nothing else. So let's go and remove it from here, like that, and remove it from here and a bit here. Maybe I will bring something back. You can paint with white color if you want to bring it back. So let's go and remove it here. So let's turn it on and off. And also I will add a little bit of here. So let's switch to white color. and let's paint it here. And you can also use your X key to flip between colors. It saves a lot of time. So let's go and paint it back. So let me zoom out now, and let's go to select, and then let's go to deselect. So let's turn it on and off. So as you can see, now it looks really nice, and we have started adding a bit more shape to the model. Now it's time to add the final adjustment layer for the model. So I will go and create a new adjustment layer and select hue saturation. Then I will go and clip it so we only affect the model. Now in the lightness, I will add -10. So the model is a little bit darker, as you can see now. And we need to remove it from the edges. So we can also use the same mask we use for the curves, as you can see, where we made the rest of the area darker and this brighter. So to replace the mask, I will hold on my Alt key. Don't release your Alt key, and if you are on Apple, I think it's Option key. So hold your Alt key and drag this thing and put it on this mask. It will say, do you want to replace it? Say yes. So as you can see, now it also works like same way that this mask does. This mask, let's go turn this on, and as you can see, this mask. So this way you can save a lot of time. And also I'm gonna decrease its opacity a little because I think it's way too stronger, and also for the curves. So let's decrease the opacity a little bit more. Yeah, that looks nice. So now let's see the after before. See, this is the regular photo, and this is where we change the highlights. So let's go and close this thing. Now it's time to apply the global adjustment layer that will affect the entire image. So to do that, create new adjustment layer and select curves. Let's put it here. And in the curves, I will go to blues and the standard look that we use a lot of time. I will increase my blues a touch, and then I will increase my yellows a touch. Not too much, just a little. Don't go too heavy with it, okay? And that looks nice. And close it. You can also reduce the opacity a little bit if you think it's way too strong. So 80% looks real fine. Now here's another trick that I use a lot of time. Because we apply too much darkness, shadows look a little weird. So for that, create new adjustment layer and select a solid color. Now instead of black color, you have to choose a color really close to black. As you can see now, this one. This is not black, this is black. So go and select this one, a bit brighter than that. Yeah, that looks nice. Hit OK. Now change its blending mode to exclusion, and let's turn this on and off, and as you can see, it makes ridiculous difference. Now it's very strong, so I'm gonna change its opacity to maybe 30-40. So let's look at 30%. Yeah, that looks really nice. Maybe I will increase the opacity a little bit more because that was way too weak. Yeah, that looks nice. Now it's time to create the actual lighting for what we prepared, all the shadows and highlights and everything. And actually this is the easiest part of the tutorial, to create the actual light. So create a new blank layer by clicking on this second last icon, and then make sure you have selected your brush tool, and my brush is, as you can see, it's really large. And for the color, I have the code ready. So it's FFAD20, which is completely useless, to be honest. All you have to do is play around with some orangish tone what sun has, and then go and hit OK. Now I will go and paint in here with that color. As you can see, my brush is completely soft, as you can see here, 0%. So that looks nice, and then I will go and change its opacity to screen. Now as you can see, we need to adjust the light a little bit because it's not even. To do that, I'm gonna press Ctrl T, and then first of all, let's stretch it a little so there's a little bit of haze on her face, and then I will move it here. Stretch a bit more and move it here, and also I will move it a bit on top. So let's go and confirm it. So let's go and turn it on and off. Yeah, now it looks much better. You can use your move tool and adjust it all day, and you probably will. So that looks really nice, but it is still a little strong. So I will go and adjust the opacity a little bit so it doesn't overkill. That's nice, and you can change it anytime. And now it's time to apply a overall gradient, and before that I want to make sure that my foreground color is black. I will create a new adjustment layer and select gradient, and I have this foreground to transparent, just the same way we used for the background. change it to radial and put this black part exactly here where the light is, and now I'm gonna reverse it so that's bright and rest of the area is not. And for the scaling I have 175. Go and hit OK. You can change the scale if you want, and then change its blending mode to soft light, and then I will change its opacity to somewhere around 40 to 50%. So 47%, yeah, that looks really good. Gives it decent contrast and some vignetting that we need. Maybe it's a little too strong, so let's go and turn down the opacity so it doesn't look weird. Yeah, so 30% also looks really nice. And then I'm gonna go and create another adjustment layer, and this time I'm gonna go and select hue saturation. Now the first thing I want to do is increase the lightness to balance the dark shadows. So I'm gonna go and enter 8. You can use your numbers, okay, don't follow me blindly. And then I will increase the saturation to somewhere around like 20 or something. Yeah, that looks cool. You can control the lightness a bit more if you want. Yeah, that looks great. And then I also changed the hue a little. I can see it in my file, but it doesn't make big of a difference. So these are the exact numbers if you need. So let's see, this is like the game changer. This makes like ridiculous amount of changes. And one thing I want to do is create a new adjustment layer and select vibrance. Now because we added that hue saturation layer, it looks a bit more hazy than I need. So I will go and increase my vibrance now. Now this is overkill, like this is ridiculous. So first of all go to 100 and then start coming back somewhere like this 30-40%. Let's go and close it. So let's turn this on and off and let's make it a bit more colorful. The colorful is like what look do you need, like so it depends totally on that. So as you can see, the final output is ready and it's time for the best part, which is the after before. So to do that, let's go and close this thing. So this is the image that we started with, and this is the final output that we created. So I really hope that you guys learned something, and if you did, hit that like button. And if you have any kind of questions or suggestions, please feel free to ask me in the comment section below. And if you want to check out more full-length photo manipulations just like this, you can click on any of these boxes. And you can also subscribe to my channel, so every time I upload a new video you will get the update. Plus when you click on that subscribe button, it will take you to my YouTube channel where I have more than 85 free Photoshop tutorials just waiting for you. So till then, goodbye, take care and have some fun with Photoshop.